Thank you very much for joining us today for our monthly luncheon. I'm very excited to welcome Harris County District Clerk Chris Daniel, along with Tracy Hopper and Annie Garcia, and my contact from the District Clerk's office, Bill Murphy, who has been kind enough to work with me over the past few weeks to put this presentation together. And with that, I'm going to turn this over to District Clerk Daniel, and they will present to us. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And thank you all that are watching at our remote sites. Hook 'em to the Austin crowd. As your district clerk of Harris County, we realize that as the big gorilla in the room, as the largest county in Texas, as over half of the electronic filings in the state of Texas, over half, we needed to take a leadership role in making sure that regardless of whatever vendors or paths that the state of Texas decided to take as far as mandating electronic filing, that you all were properly hatted on the statewide system. Our primary role is just to accept the filings, regardless of how you file. And primarily, it's not our role to educate. But because we are the big gorilla in the room, and because it is a new feature for most of you non-federally filing attorneys, former patent attorney here, we felt that as an office as a whole that we needed to take a leadership role in hatting all the attorneys, paralegals, and anybody that is going to be part of this system so that you knew at least how to fundamentally file with the statewide mandated system. And that is our primary goal today, is hatting you on this system so that you know at least how to use the statewide system. Should you choose to use any other vendor, that's fine. But we want you to be absolutely clear on the bare minimum of what you need to use the statewide system so that you aren't falling behind and so that you can be part of this next phase in electronic filing for the state of Texas. Without any other pomp or circumstance, I'm going to introduce Tracy Hopper. Tracy is our basically our director of programming on the IT side, and she and her team have built what has basically been the receiving end of the electronic filing system in our office. Picture it, if you will, by analogy, a bridge where our office is one end and the state of Texas / the state of Texas portal is the other end, and we have essentially built a bridge simultaneously to meet in the middle. As the first county to go electronic, as one of the largest counties to go electronic, we got all the hiccups, the concerns, the bugs. And so while it may be working wonderfully now in, let's say, I'll make up a county, Henderson County, it is, of course, our burden and our joy to go through all the learning curves with you. And so Tracy has been the godsend to our office that has allowed us to not only move through this paradigm shift, if you will, but to streamline it and to discover the best practices to share with other counties all along the way. Without any further ado, Tracy Hopper.
Thank you, Chris. As Chris was saying, my name is Tracy Hopper. I'm the Assistant Director over the Application Development Section for the District Clerk's Office. And I was the e-filing, still am the e-filing project manager for our office. And so I work closely with Tyler Technologies, who is the state vendor for the e-filing manager, as well as JCIT, which a lot of the rules and a lot of standards and a lot of technology standards that comes down from the state is from the JCIT committee, which JCIT stands for Judicial Committee for Information Technology. So that committee is the one that's coming up with rules and standards that is being used for the e-filing system. So as I'm going through this overview, I'm going to bring up some things that are going on at the state level, as well as pretty much going through an overview of how you would file in Harris County District Clerk's Office. Each county is a little different, keep that in mind. And then as I explain further down the road how everybody's going to be the same in the future. So basically the first step when you have to e-file is to register with the system. I'm sure y'all have already registered. You've already got a firm administrator who has set up your accounts. But that is the first thing you do is you pick a firm administrator. They start to set up your accounts, and they register every attorney for the system, as well as all the users in the system. The one thing that I want to point out for everybody when you do self-register or get your password for the e-filing system is to make sure you set up payment accounts, both for the credit card, which you have to set up a payment account for a credit card to start e-filing, but also to set up a waiver account. If your firm administrator has not done that, please do so, because some of your filings might not be with your office, but in the future, if you file things like a protective order, those fees are waived up front, so you don't have to pay them. And so you would select a waiver for those type of filings, and for any other filings, you would then choose your credit card and pay the fees. But please set up both, there we go. Please set up both payment accounts, credit card, and waiver. The next thing to go over is the actual, once you get logged into the system, to actually start your filing. The first screen here I showed you somewhere. We're going to show you screenshots for the state portal. eFileTexas.gov has an EFSP, which EFSP stands for e-filing service provider. I'm going to be saying EFSP a lot in the presentation, and what that stands for basically is the e-filing service providers who you first have to register and log on with, and then you can file with the state portal. So to file a subsequent filing with our county, Harris District Clerk, you would actually put in your case number, hit go, and it will actually go and search our system, and we'll return back the information to the state portal, which will then return it back to your screen, showing you that case number, the style of the case, the court, and what case type it is for you to file into. If it's a new case, of course, you would click a new case link. There'll be somewhere on any FSP that you use, there'll be some sort of new case link for you to start a new case. But anytime you search for our office with Harris District Clerk as the jurisdiction, you would then put in the case number. If you don't know that case number, there is an advanced search link next to the go button, or somewhere on any FSP that you use, that will allow you to choose a location like Harris District Clerk, and then put in your party's first name, middle name, or last name, and the case type, and hit search, and then we'll return all the cases for that person's name in the system. So that's how you would start a subsequent case number. When the results come back, you'll see that case number, like I was saying, the location, the style, and that case type. And then there'll be a button over here to the right that allow you to start a subsequent filing for that case. You must always search on your case number first to start that filing. A lot of other jurisdictions that don't have that integration will actually you would have to key in everything for that case, no matter when you're filing it. You would have to key in the case number, the party, the case type, and all of that information in order to file. With our jurisdiction, you do not have to do that. You just search on the case and then start the filing. And like I was saying, if it is a new case, so we don't have any information about the case, you would click the new case button. Then you would select Harris District Clerk as your location. You would check a category of civil, if it's civil, family, or juvenile. Case type, the filing attorney. Please always select that filing attorney of who's filing the case. The filer type, which the only 4 choices in that drop down is attorney, pro se filer, non-party filer, and government filer. So for y'all, it would be all attorney. And then the payment account, like I was saying before, which will be either credit card or waiver. Then the next thing that you need to know about is this information that I was telling you to start the new case is different for every jurisdiction. For Harris District Clerk, you might select civil, then breach of contract. In Travis County or somewhere else, it might be civil contract is the category, and contract debt case might be the case type. And that makes it very confusing if you're having to file in Fort Bend or Travis or Tarrant or some other jurisdiction. So we understood that. We got the complaints back at the state level. So the state decided we need to adopt standards across the whole state of Texas to where the e-filing system is just a portal for you to file the case. It's not a case management system. It's just a mechanism to file your case. So what we've came up with at the state level are standards to where when everybody picks a category, it's going to be the same category and same case no matter what county you file it in. And you'll see those standards. They're going to be adopted every March and September. Right now we're on 1.3 version of the technology standards. I have links throughout this presentation, as well as this presentation is up on our website. You'll be able to get this later and go to those links yourself. I do have some open, and these are the technology standards. I drilled down to the case types and case categories inside the document. So in the future, once we get these standards updated in our jurisdiction, you will see that you won't be picking civil anymore. You'll have to pick civil contract, civil employment, civil injury, whatever type of case you're filing, and then what case type you're filing. These categories and case types come straight off of the case information sheet. Everybody knows from the OCA standards you have to fill out a case information sheet when you're filing a new case. Straight from that case information sheet, the little check boxes that you check and the little sections that you check is exactly how we designated the categories and case types. So if you go off of that case information sheet, you should be able to find in the future, when everybody goes to the standard, you should be able to find the type of case that you're filing and the case types directly from that sheet and be able to select it on the portal. Some jurisdictions have already updated their case types and case categories to the standards. We have not yet. We have a massive change in our case management system in order to grab these categories and try to programmatically get them into the system as quick as possible so you're not delayed in your filing. So we're programming that at this time. As soon as we get that done, we're going to update our standards to these standards that are in this document. So we are in the process of getting all of this converted. As well as subsequent filings, you're going to have a standard list of subsequent filings that is going to be on the list. If the case is a civil family case, or civil case, sorry, you will have these subsequent filings to choose from. And then the family cases are down further of these family type cases, and you'll have these subsequent filing types. The document also goes over AG filings and those standard types. It also goes over probate and mental health cases, if you ever have any of those, as well as multi-district litigation cases. We have those case types in there as well. Also in this document on the technology standards that you really need to pay attention to is your rejection reasons, and AKA your return for correction reasons. So the state has divided that up into two different types. If you get your document rejected, you can get it rejected for filing a sealed document or filing a vexatious litigant document. Both of those can be rejected to where you can't return it for correction. The rest of these reasons, which you'll start getting in a bunch of our rejections if we happen to reject your document, will be straight from these reasons and these statutes of why your document was returned for correction. So those will be coming in the future as well. In fact, I think the state of e-filing portal has already updated a lot of these rejection reasons on everybody's jurisdiction, so everybody should start seeing those as of this week. Back to the presentation. So that's good for the whole state of Texas that we are standardizing, so it'll make it easier for the filer to file what they need to do. Right now we're meeting next month in Austin. We're going over the optional services, and each optional service fees that you can add to your filing, we're standardizing those across the state of Texas. I think when Tyler sent the list to OCA, it was over 4,500 different optional services that every county on the portal had. We took all the duplicates out, and it was still over 2,500 different descriptions of what an optional service that each county had. So we've taken that list down, and we've pared it down to right around 100 or less of those optional services. So we're trying to get it statute driven and easier for everyone to know. If I'm picking a citation from a constable, it's constable-citation, and everybody knows it's the same exact thing across the whole state of Texas. So those will be coming soon. Hopefully we'll get those approved by the Supreme Court in September. The next thing you do, if you've searched on this case, the subsequent filing, and you said, yes, I want that case, and you click on Start a Subsequent Filing, the first screen that will come up is this party screen. We will preload, we will send to the state portal exactly the parties that are in that case, that are in our system, and they will get preloaded on this screen for you. If you find your party or don't find your party and you need to add them, you can add that here. Normally you would only have to add if you're filing that type of petition, like a counterclaim or a cross action that actually adds that party into the case. And if it's a multi-district litigation case, so it has over 2,000 parties, we're not going to send all 2,000 parties back to the screen, because the state system had an issue with loading 2,000 parties onto the screen. So we had to limit, and I think we're the only county that had that issue, so we had to limit the amount of parties coming back to the screen. So we limit that to 200 parties. So if your case has over 200 parties, you will not see all of them. Don't panic. They are still in our case management system. You don't have to add the other 200 if there's 400. Just know that they're there, and you only have to add a party if your document is adding that party, if your filing is adding that party. Of course, on a new case, the screen will be blank, and you will have to go in and add each party. Make sure when you're adding a party and you key in the defendant's name or plaintiff's name to select the attorney representing that party. This drop down is not a required field. We've asked for it to be required, but they couldn't do it. So you make sure when you're adding that party to select the attorney representing them, so in case it's not caught by the clerk, at least it gets in our case management system correctly, and the attorney gets notifications like they're supposed to. Okay? The next screen, or the next part of the screen, is actually your filing. What are you filing? And that's the filing code. These are standard across the state of Texas. Of course, if you're filing a breach of contract, it's just going to be it's actually going to say in the new standards petition. It won't say breach of contract like our configuration is showing. You'll just select petition, and it'll be $247. A subsequent filing, of course, you'll have those standards. You're filing a motion, you're filing a notice, an answer, whatever it may be. So you would select that out of the drop down. Then the next two fields, this filing description and reference number, our clerks really don't look at those fields. So those fields are just for you, for your information. If you want to put something into those fields, go right ahead. We don't care. We're not looking at them. Okay? Sorry. One more up. And then, of course, the next thing is the optional services. That's the 4,500 that I was talking about that we were drilling down. These are just a little screenshot of some of ours, like for traditional service when you're filing the new case and need to traditionally serve the defendant, certified male constable. Those are the fees that you'll need to add in to your filing if you're requesting it. So if you're requesting service, please add those fees. And also don't forget, when you're asking for traditional service, to add in your copies fees. There's service copy fees. Make sure you add that for however many pages that we're going to have to print out and give to the constable, because those are being left off, and then we have to add them in, and that starts a whole nother round of issues, and I'll get to those later. So just be aware of all the fees that you have to add in. On our website, we show you a list. There is a court fees document that's out there that can show you all the fees that we have and everything that you can request, so you can find those easier. Next thing is to actually, one more thing. E-file and service. I don't know why, it used to say e-service, and I'm not sure why the state changed it to service, but when you check this box that says e-file, I think it's defaulted by default. When the e-file box is checked off, that filing actually ends up in our inbox and we review it. If this is unchecked, that filing will never come to us. If you only check off service and only this box and not this box, that filing gets electronically served through the EFSPs and it never gets sent to us. So we never see it. So if you want to file a filing into our case file, this e-file checkbox must be checked off. Okay? Then the next thing you have to do is actually attach your documents to the filing. The lead document is always what you're filing, whether it's the original petition, the answer to the original petition, the cross action, whatever document it is that you're filing, that gets attached as the lead document. Then you need to actually identify what that document is. For our county, we've actually put all of our document types into this drop down because we are in electronic courts. Like Chris was saying, all of our courts are electronic. So the judge actually looks at your documents through a screen that we provide for him. So he has an electronic docket that he looks at all the cases that are on his docket, and for each case he can see all of the documents for that case. And for the most part, for when he's doing a hearing, he's looking for just those, he's looking at just those documents on that hearing. So in order for us to identify the documents easier for the judge, we actually had to put them in different document types. So your new case filings, your original petitions are new case filings. Your case information sheet, usually the document type is straight on case information sheet. An answer is an answer, a motion is a motion, an exhibit is an exhibit. So you can probably very easily identify what document you're filing from this drop down. A lot of the other jurisdictions throughout the state will just have public and data sensitive document. We have data sensitive document in our drop down, but we don't have public. We want you to actually identify what document you're attaching. So please be aware to select the document type that you're attaching. And when you upload your PDF into the state portal system, they actually default the description field with, if you called your document test document.pdf, that's exactly what comes up in this description field by default. We are telling everybody, please go back and take that out and actually name the whatever title document, whatever title is on your document, enter that into the description field. If you named your document original petition for John Doe, then that's what you need to enter here, original petition for John Doe. If however you titled that document, that's what we need here, because that's exactly what the judge is seeing as well. And if you want the judge to see your exact document the way you titled it, you need to enter that here. The only problem is if you named your title something very long, that's something like 300 characters, you only get about, I think, 80 to 100 characters in this box. So fill out as much as you can up until it stops you, and then the clerk will enter the rest. But what we're asking is that everybody fill in the exact document title as much as they can up to the point it stops them, and then submit their filing. Of course, any supporting documents to your filing, like a case information sheet or an exhibit, those are attachments. You can attach as many as you want. You can keep adding more documents. Attach however many you need to that filing. And remember, though, that the envelope size for each filing is 35 meg. So if you go over 35 meg, you're going to have to break up that filing into separate filings. And just tell the clerks in the filer's comment that this is a second a secondary filing for envelope XYZ, whatever it may be. But the filer's comments that are right below all the documents, there it is, get the curse. The filer's comments, the clerk will look into that box. And if there's anything that you need to tell the court clerk or the intake clerk that accepts your filing, put that into the filer's comments, and that's the one that they will look at. Okay? And then, of course, verify your fees to make sure you added everything in that you needed to add in for that filing. Select your payment account, whatever credit card you're using in the firm, your filer type, attorney, and who the filing attorney is. Those are fields that we really do need in each filing, otherwise it causes problems or issues or delays. The next, the e-filing, any EFSP that you go through should have a summary page for you to review everything one last time before submitting. As soon as you hit submit, it starts in a submitted status, and then eventually once it gets to a submit status, then it's up in our queues for us to review. I'm showing you exactly the state portal, exactly how we can get access to it. You'll have a filings page where you can see every filing that you have done. Pay attention to the envelope number that gets assigned to you. I think it shows up in a pop-up box and it says envelope 67277 is your envelope number. Keep track of that envelope number, because if there's any problems with your filing and you call the clerk's office asking, for something, the first thing they're going to ask you is, what is your envelope number? And so you need to have that envelope number. Sometimes the case number is not enough because there's hundreds of filings in one case. We don't know which one you're talking about. So it's good to have the envelope number. So no matter if you do a new case filing that doesn't have a case yet or a subsequent filing that has a case, it still shows you your envelope number. So you can always refer back to that under your filings. And like I was saying, it starts in a submitting status, then it becomes submitted, then there's an under review status. Under review just means the clerk opened up your filing and started looking at it. She could have closed it, and she could have reopened it and closed it again. It stays in the under review status as long as we're looking at it. From the time it's submitted to the time it's under review, you can cancel that filing. It does allow you over here to the right, if we have not looked at it, there is a button that says cancel this filing. And if you miss something and went, oh, I meant to attach this other exhibit to this filing. If we haven't looked at it, you can cancel it. But as soon as it becomes under review, then you can't cancel it. And at that point, if you need that filing rejected, you can try to call the clerk's office, tell them your envelope number, tell them you need it rejected, and if they haven't accepted it yet, they can reject it. It's been given to envelopes is court processing. I don't know why they came up with that status or why it's named that, but basically that court status, envelope status, means an error has happened. They didn't call it error. They called it court processing. It doesn't mean we're processing anything on the envelope. It means the envelope has errored out in some way and is in an error queue on the EFM, and someone has to manually look at that filing. So if your filing's ever in a court processing status, that means it's in error somehow. Something's wrong with that filing. And I'm going to go into that in the next couple of slides. And then, of course, you have your accepted status and your rejected status. I don't know in the newer versions if this is going to stay rejected or it might be a different status, but I'll get into that in just a little bit too. And then, of course, I wanted to let everybody know the new rules that are coming, new things that are coming out in the rules. It's actually been in the rules since December, but it was never programmed on efiletexas.gov. But in the rules that was actually signed in December of 2013, it says if a document is transmitted on Saturday, Sunday, or legal holiday, it is deemed filed on the next day that is not a Saturday, Sunday, or legal holiday. So today, if you file something on a Saturday and we don't look at it till Monday and we accept it on Monday, it's going to get a Saturday file date because that's the old rules and the way efiletexas.gov had it programmed. On the new version 3.8 that's coming out in August, and I'm going to go over that in just a little bit too, when you file that document now on a Saturday, when we accept it on Monday, it's going to get a Monday morning file stamp. It's going to be file stamped as of Monday morning at 12:01 a.m. So you're no longer going to get weekend file stamps. If you file it on a weekend, it'll be the next business day. Legal holidays, unfortunately, is not in that version. So legal holidays, you're going to get a free ride. If you decide to file on July 4th, you will get a July 4th file stamp. So until the state portal programs that part in, you get a free ride on holidays, but no longer on the weekends. And that's per the Supreme Court rules.